Today's episode is how to clear resentment over past failed investments. Hello and welcome to the Successful, Sensitive and Intuitive Entrepreneur podcast. My name is Lydia Sophia Wilmsen and I am an intuitive success mentor for sensitive entrepreneurs. In this podcast, I speak about the challenges sensitive and intuitive entrepreneurs face. I offer you new perspectives and solutions, as well as experiences of other entrepreneurs. Plus, I speak about my personal experience of being a highly sensitive person who has successfully built and scaled 2 businesses. All of that with the goal to make you and your business even more successful in your very unique and authentic way. Have fun and enjoy. This topic often comes up when I talk to my clients because of something that comes up for them in sales calls. And obviously, I do hear that question or that topic as well when I talk to people and am in conversation about potentially working with me. And it's such a huge topic, much bigger than we think. Usually, if people come up like with this idea, oh my goodness, that's a big investment, I'm not sure if I can make it work. There is something beneath that. And that is usually that they have made investments in the past. And at some point, they made investments that didn't work out in the way they wanted them to work out. And they now carry that fear of it not working out or it being a bad investment or some failure on the way. They carry that energy into future investments. So into the conversation with you, basically, when you have someone like, I'm not really sure if I do that, if I should do that. It's really a lot of money and it's never about the money. It then is, for example, because they already did invest and it didn't work out as they wanted to. They perhaps even invested 20, 30, 50K. So they are people who like to invest in themselves. And they still have lingering resentment and lingering negative emotions when it comes to past investments that now keep them questioning to invest. And they come up with the price like, it's a really high price or something. And it's not about that. So this fear over past investments or this like basically feeling of failure of past investments, that can be a reason why people don't invest and don't sign up with you. And I really want to go a little bit deeper into that today because this is something you have to address in yourself, especially when you see it being mirrored to you, for example, in conversations with others. And how I address nowadays every investment I make is I basically expect that all my investments work out for me. My intention is for every investment I make, that every investment I make works out for me. I don't accept anything less. This is my mindset. My mindset is this investment is going to work out. And like that, I take my power back. I'm in power. I'm not at the mercy of the investment or the person I invest with. I am the power. I have my back. And I make sure it's going to work out. I create the results. It's not someone else, it's me. And this is basically the mindset I have around every investment I make, which does not mean that everything works out in the way I expect it to. There can happen something that it goes in a very different way. However, I will look for the gold in it. I will look for the learning and the win in every investment I make. And this is why I get learnings and wins all the time with every investment I make. And I only make high-level investments. So you have to understand, if you have lingering resentment and like feelings of, there has been an investment that really didn't work out as I wanted. If you don't work on that, if you don't get rid of that lingering resentment, those negative feelings about it, you only hurt yourself with that. You only hurt yourself with those negative feelings. Like those people you invested in, that they helped you with whatever, they don't care about your resentment. They are neither positively nor negatively impacted by that. So you only ever hurt yourself. And that is really important for you to understand because many people, when they are resentful, they basically want something from the other side. Like you're really angry about someone and you really resent the behavior of someone. And it's not only investments, a really good topic for relationships as well, for example. You are resentful about the behavior of someone else. But guess what? The other person does not care. Like, whatever, if you're resentful or not, it doesn't impact the other person. Or it can be, obviously, if you are like spreading your resentfulness energy on them. However, very often in failed investments, you don't have contact with that person anymore. So they couldn't care less. They already got your money. They couldn't care less about your resentment. So this is something where you only hurt yourself with. And that energy also doesn't lead to good agreements. So even if you're still in contact with the person you invested with, or for example, in relationships right now, those negative feelings, this lingering resentment won't lead to good agreements, to good conversations. So that's another reason why you really have to take care of those feelings in yourself, because you will create so much better outcomes, so much better compromises, so much better agreements, where basically in the end, you could even get money back or whatever. But you can only get to that point if you take care of your energy and you don't blast your anger and your resentfulness or your resentment on other people. So that's the second point, why it really serves you to take care of those feelings. The next one is you stay attached and dependent on other people if you keep those feelings with you. Because then it's always like they basically let my investment fail. Like, because of them, I lost this money. Because they didn't do the work, my business is not as good as it is. Because of their negative remarks, like, I'm unhappy now. Like, can you see that? You are 100% dependent on them for your happiness inside, for your creativity on working with problems, with challenges. So if you again clear this energy, if you clear those feelings for yourself, you stay detached, or you get to a detached place and an independent place where you are again in power over yourself. You are the leader of yourself and not other people lead you. And the last one I want to mention is those feelings, those negative feelings will negatively impact future investments. They will negatively impact future investments. They will negatively impact the trust you have in yourself. So, as long as you don't take care of those past investments, you will trust less in yourself and your ability to make informed decisions and good decisions and good investments. And also the trust in others. It also declines because then there is always this feeling, oh, other people want something, like wish me bad. And other people like do something in order to hurt me. And they do this on purpose, basically. So that's another important point, that those negative feelings from then still impact you now in your current day-to-day scenario, in how you deal with yourself, how much you trust in yourself, how much you trust in others, and how much you trust into investments working out for you. And again, like let's go back to what I started with in the beginning. I said, my mindset is that all my investments work out for me. My mindset is that this stuff works. I don't accept anything less. And this is why my investments work out for me, because this is the only lens I'm accepting. And if you constantly go into new investments with this feeling of like, oh, I don't trust that, it's not going to work out, or it could be that it doesn't work out. What you focus on, you create. What you focus on expands. So you will create many more scenarios of failed investments. Do you get me? Do you get how important it is to take care of that? It really is in your highest interest to clear any lingering negative emotions. It's about you and not about others. It's not about like excusing others or excusing behavior of others or not having boundaries. No, I'm talking about taking your power back. And you can still, like, if things happen that weren't okay, I want you to speak up. However, it depends on with which attitude you show up. If you're still full of negative energy, your results will be so much less. So taking care of that emotions first and then dealing with the challenge, dealing with the problem will yield so much better results. So again, it is in your own interest to deal with it. Now the question is, how do you do that? The first thing I usually also recommend to people who want to work with me and come with this fear is to write a list. Write down every investment you have ever made and then write down why it was either a win or a learning. Usually those investments which worked out perfectly, you made a lot of money with them, you were super happy about the outcome, they are obviously a win. So that's quite easy. More important is that you take care of those investments where you have strange feelings with, where you think they were basically failed investments. And look for the win or the learning in those, in every single one of them. You sit down and work on that as long as it takes until you get the win or the learning. And I have to say, for me, there were investments in my past where it took me a long time to get there. And now I can say I have worked through every investment and I have gotten to that point where I can take my power back and say, this is from my perspective what I learned or why it was a good investment, even if it was just for the learning. So I recently even gave this example. I have worked with several people when it comes to Facebook ads, and it was never successful. And I spent a 5-figure sum on that on several different things. And for a long time, I was quite resentful. I thought, like, those people should have told me that my business was not in the stage yet to invest into Facebook ads. Not because of the size of my business, that would have been fine, but because of the missing clarity of my message. I was still super good in selling. I'm super good in the work I do with my clients. And at that point, my message for Facebook ads was not crystal clear enough. And you need that. And I was resentful because I said, you should have told me that. You should have looked at my business and tell me that my message was not clear enough and that I should hire a whatever marketing coach or a copywriter first or a copywriting coach, something like that. You should have told me that and not just take my money and do good stuff. Like like one person who did Facebook ads for me, and when someone else, like a friend of mine, looked over those and looked at it and he said, wow, this is amazing. Like what this woman did was amazing. And still, it didn't yield any results for me because it couldn't have. My message was not clear enough. And my energy was like, this woman didn't tell me that my message is not clear enough. And I had to overcome that. So what did I do? For a long time, I was just resentful. And it hindered me. And at some point, I found the message for me. And that was, I had given away my power. I had outsourced my CEO task. A Facebook manager does not have to tell me about where my business is at. I need to know that. I need to be in the driver's seat and know what needs to change, what needs to be addressed. If I can't do that, I have to hire someone for that. But it's surely not a Facebook ads manager. And of course, you could say that person should have blah, 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 blah. Of course, you can say that, but it doesn't help me. It doesn't help me to point fingers at someone else. So I had to take my sovereignty back. I had to take my CEO energy back and say, yeah, what I expected from someone else was actually my task, was actually what I had to take care of. And then I can invest in a different way. Now I invest into Facebook ads in a different way and not like that anymore. I don't give my power away anymore. So actually, this was a powerful investment. It was a powerful learning for me that took me quite some money, yes. And now I am fine with that. I don't point fingers at those people anymore. No, I say, this is my job to look at and mine alone. I can't outsource that. So that was just a very expensive learning for me. I got it and now I have it and now I invest in a different way. So do you understand it? Do you understand how easy it is to point fingers and blame others instead of looking at the learning there? And the learning can really be very, very detached from the actual topic. So the learning was not around like, how can I do Facebook ads better or something? No, it was a very different thing. And it could be something else for you. This was just my biggest learning because that was really what was going on there. So I want you to sit down and look at every investment you have ever made. And it might even be that there is a pattern. I very often fell into wanting others to tell me what's good for my business instead of understanding that this has to come from me. So that was a weak spot I had. And I made several investments in that way. And I had to understand, no, that's up to me. I have to step into that power and not give it away to other people. And that brings me to the other point, which is like, write this list. That's point number one. Write this list, find the learning, go deeper. And whenever you see yourself falling back into blaming, the second thing I want you to understand is stop blaming others. And rather ask, what can you do today to be in your power and make informed decisions? Really, stop blaming others for your non-results, or at the same time admiring them for the amazing results. It's always you who creates results. Results are created by you. And as long as you outsource this power, you are dependent on outer circumstances and other people's promises and behavior. So you have to stop feeling like a victim that others took advantage of. No, 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 no. Like, take your power back. And then you can fully trust in your ability, and you can fully trust in all the investments you're going to make, no matter what. So you can fully trust in your ability to create results no matter what. It is not up to another person. It's not up to the people you hire. It's not up to the investments you make. You create the results no matter what because of you, because you are the person who creates the results. That is such a huge difference. And this is also very important when it comes to working with coaches. Like, it's in every level. On the fundamental level, you have to understand you create the results. You have someone on the side who guides you, and still you are the person who creates the results. And this is also how you then teach other people. Like, when someone comes to you with all those fears, you can basically take everything from this episode today and teach them. And you will give them the biggest favor ever. Because understanding that you have the power in you, especially if you don't believe in that power in you, is such a big gift. And it took me quite some struggle to fully understand it. I have to say that. I was resentful. I was resistant against that. It was like, but no, the other person wronged me. Yeah, it doesn't help you to keep saying that. It doesn't help you. To say the other person wronged me doesn't bring you anything. It doesn't give you anything. It doesn't create better results for your business. So the earlier you stop that and see and connect with that power in you to create whatever you want in this world, the quicker it starts getting there. And you can live as a victim if you want to. Just understand it will create victim results for you. And I'm not talking about being hard on yourself. So I'm not someone who says, like, man up and get through that shit. I speak about compassion with yourself, and I speak about doing the proper work around that. And this is deeply emotional work, which has nothing to do with pushing through and just getting through that shit. And this will create so many different results in your life. So, what I spoke about today was how to clear resentment over past failed investments. First, I shared with you what my mindset is when it comes to investments of any kind. Then, why it is so important that you basically work and let go of this negative energy around failed investments, that it's of your highest interest to do that, and then basically how to do that. I hope you got very much out of this episode. And if you have been an avid listener to this podcast, if you have been enjoying all the value I've given over the last weeks and months, and you are someone who works a lot, creates amazing results, and you know you can do it with more ease. You are struggling, you are overworking, you are people pleasing, you are always there for other people, and you put yourself last, and you have issues with that, and you know that you want to change that, then I urge you to reach out to me, that we take the next step and hop on our 15-minute Mindset Catalyst call, where we then figure out together what those next steps for you are in business and in your life to get you out of struggle and finally into ease, because it is possible. And I really want to ask you, how long do you want to wait? Because you have to understand those things don't change by themselves. I have never seen people do this alone. You really need support to get there quickly. So reach out to me. Book your session, your 15-minute session with me, and we shall get you to the next level. Much love to you, and until the next episode. Did you like this podcast episode? Then I would be super, super grateful if you gave me a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Super helpful. And please subscribe to the podcast and share it with people who you know can benefit from it. You can find all links to my social media profiles, my website, and contact form in the show notes. And whenever you're ready to take a next step, and that means you want to live a life of more on all levels, then send me a message with where you want to go and what is keeping you where you are, like what keeps you stuck at the moment. And then I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for listening, and until the next episode, much love to you, Lydia.